Hello. I'm your host, Ava. I'm here to share you the saddest part of the tale. You see, days after Rozz had taken his life, there would be a memorial show to be hosted at the location of Coven 13, which by then had moved away from Hollywood and moved to the El Rey Theater. Now, originally I had planned to shoot from there and show you it, but A, I can't spare the fuel. B, brings back some painful memories. There was a lot of apprehension over who was going to perform and who's going to say what. I figured let those in his inner circle work it out, and if they wanted our participation and our attendance, we'd be ready for it. And I was kind of hoping I would get that opportunity, but it didn't happen. It's okay though. I think between Evo and most undoubtedly Shaitan pretty much had things covered. See, myself and my then wife were fighting pretty hard, but that week we kind of took a ceasefire at least up until the show. That time was over. It would be another 3 months before I'd be out of her life completely and out of my children's life, unfortunately. Of course, this had nothing to do with Rozz, but life just spun out of control and my world imploded. I lost a dear friend. I didn't realize that I'd be losing Shaitan as well. You see, people handle grief in various ways and not always in the best, sometimes very destructive. Looking back, I don't think I cried until the night of the memorial show. Shaitan had shown up in this vintage ball gown. Looked like from the 1950s. Beautiful. And she performed one of the hidden gems that Rozz enjoyed, not too many people knew about. He was a real big Billie Holiday fan, in addition to Lou Reed. So yes, they did play his favorite Lou Reed song, Vicious. But they also made space for Shaitan, who went up on stage, spoke a few words, and it was hard for her. I mean, she was dying. Of course, she'd known him much longer than most of us and was very close to him because, again, being bandmates, and she had named him the uncle of her children. She performed this song, beautiful. It was difficult to listen to because there was so much emotion. When it was over, she collapsed. And it was just hard. Evo, I don't remember quite what she did. She showed up with a baby carriage, and we won't ask about that, and I don't have any information for you on that. I think she said a couple words and not much. Details of what else happened that night were kind of foggy. We were all so goddamn numb. I get very numb just talking about it. And it gets a little hard. It really does. I still have difficulty talking about this. Though the details are foggy, I can tell you something truly devastating also occurred that we didn't expect. You see, by the time it was over, Coven 13 was already planning an event of their own And while it was nice that Joseph Brooks had provided the location, what happened was that they were planning a Peter Murphy tribute night. And so we were doing our thing. And it was going to let out about 20 minutes before the club would open. And as we filed out, we noticed there's this long line of young new goths, young kids. Some of them didn't even look old enough to be in the club. Yeah, if you don't mind me. And he had this poster. He had this large poster for Peter Murphy. And a small flyer for Rozz. And these kids were rather rude in the fact that they didn't, for so-called goths, they didn't know who the fuck Rozz was. I mean, that's how young these were. And worse, they were like getting annoyed and getting very indignant because they wanted whatever was going on inside to hurry the fuck up so they can get to their dancing, their club. And it was then that all the time and it started with me saying, I'm not goth, I'm death rock. You know, Dinah Cancer picked it up and she was saying it. But then once Rozz heard it, he took over, and as far as anyone else is concerned, people think he came up with that. I don't care, it's okay, you know, we're friends, you know. It's not like I make any money off this shit, you're not, you know, but it was kind of a funny thing, you know, when he started repeating my things, my lines. But like I know, like our last conversation, he told me how much he admired me. All these years later, I still think of him. Well, we had filed out of the El Rey Theater, and these little whiny kids complaining, they wanted Peter Murphy, and who the fuck is this Rozz person? And that's when I said, I guess this is the end of the death rock era. I concede, we're goths. Well, I said that then. I guess I was like a holdout. I mean, there were other holdouts. I mean, Jen and Dave Batts had their thing over in Long Beach, and people that didn't want to embrace the whole goth thing, you know, still trying to be hardcore, one foot in the punk world, one foot being death rock. And that was okay, that was cool, I suppose. I just, unfortunately, because of my breakup with Dinah, battle lines were drawn and they were on the other side. And it was too bad because I really liked those two. But we were never enemies, but we didn't talk very much because of it. But, I mean, it's a long time ago. I've long let whatever grudge pass. Yeah, club owners sided with her, club owners sided with me, and I got more or less the lion's share because I'm still a diva. Well, did a lot of crying that night. I mean, I went back into the club, and the minute they played a Christian death song, I just started to break down. I was wearing this Victorian dress. Well, it was a reproduction kind of from from Jessica McClintock that I borrowed from my friend Jen at the time. And I just couldn't dance anymore. I just sat down on the floor and I just cried. What else can I do? And as you might have guessed, my then outgoing wife and myself, we went home separately. It was just not a very, it was a difficult night on many levels. Well, and there you have it. I recall there was a more private ceremony, but that was between Rozz's family, and I don't know any of the details of it. I do know that Eva and Shaitan would have likely participated, but I didn't ask. Eva was very private at that time, and Shaitan, well, she had a hard time with all this. And, well, let's just say losing Rozz, I lost her too in the process. And it was sad. And I still miss her, and I still love her, and I'm still her friend. I have maybe one last story to share regarding Rozz, but that's another video. That was one difficult night. I lost a dear friend, lost a marriage. Well, I was writing on the wall, was already out there on that one. But lose my kids, lose access to certain people and certain things, but probably my biggest loss after Rozz would be losing Shaitan. Yeah, she's still alive, but certain people took advantage of our grief and, you know, put out some rumors about me doing or saying things that shouldn't have happened, and I didn't appreciate, you know, people taking advantage of the situation like that. But, well, Shaitan, if you're watching, just remember, you believed in me once, believe in me again when I say I never betrayed you. Still your friend. Still miss you. Still love you. And Rozz, you just won't let me go, will you? Yeah, I know we'll see each other again. And that's the thing about death. I'm told you'll see your friends again. And these were dear friends. I would go on to live, and a lot of things would happen from that point on. 1998, 99. I'd reinvent myself, and the scene would reinvent itself as well. Death Rock went pretty much very underground, or at least relegated to Long Beach for the time, but it would resurface. A few years later, some kids opened up a club called Ghoul School on West Hollywood, and somebody came up with that nifty California Death Rock logo, which we still use. I gotta admit, that was pretty ingenious. I don't remember if that was Mark Splatter behind that or not. But at least the aesthetic of Death Rock and the memory, and somewhat some new bands out there that are trying to do a revival. I mean, in the grander scheme of things, it's considered an evolutionary dead end. Goth more or less absorbed everything, and there's nothing wrong with, you know, embracing the whole thing. I mean, it's all ultimately it's this big music culture that originally came from punk rock, and you don't exactly hear the punkers complaining. I wish there was a happy ending to this, but there's not, of course. like we said in the last video, you knew this was going to end badly. Well, I'm still alive. And so are some of the people that we mentioned. They're still alive. They're out there. It's been hard talking about this, and I know I've said it many times, but I needed to share this. I suppose get it off my chest. It's been sitting there for almost 3 decades. And while there are some people who aren't happy with what I've been doing here, well, you don't like my stories, create your own channel and make your own videos. I have my health issues and my memory is starting to slip. And yeah, well, I did a lot of drugs. I did a lot of crazy things. And these were great. These were my memories, and I like to preserve them. Particularly if for any reason I am to depart from this world, you will have this, the sound of my voice, my image, and the stories I told. My first-hand accounts of what it was to be there, to be around Rozz Williams, Shaitan, Evo, Dinah Cancer, Patrick Mata, that magnificent death rock era. Well, it was actually kind of a facsimile of the original death rock era, which was really in the 80s. But that's okay. It's all good, Anyone who was there, well, probably wouldn't have an issue with that, I hope you've enjoyed these tales. I do have one more thing about Rozz, and that's on another video. But for now, this was the story. And now that I've shared it, perhaps I can be free. Please be good to each other and preserve your memories. And remember, it's all about the music. That's what brought us here.